Oh, hey everybody, guess who's back? That's right, Happy New Year. We made it to 2021 together. This is gonna be the first video of the new year for the channel. I want to say, you guys, I missed y'all so much, and this first episode is going to be about one of my favorite comic properties that honestly never really gets the credit, but 2021 is going to be the year for that line. I'm going to sum it up in one word: milestone. Let's get it, okay? If you're ready, I'm ready. Brain, mouth, heart, beard, whole new attitude, fresh year. Yes, let's do it. So we about to do this, y'all, okay? Woo, man. Get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, blurs, blurdicorns, nerds, and geeks of all ages. Hello, everybody. It's your boy Montel. What's going on? How's everybody doing? Hopefully you guys have had a fantastic day, week, month, year, millennium. We finally got out of 2020. So now we are moving on to 2021, and we already know there's so many anticipated things happening, and I'm so hyped. I can't even lie about it. I'm really excited. We've got the new Marvel shows coming out. We've got the new movies coming out. You got video game stuff coming out. You got all this amazing stuff. We're still dealing with COVID, so I'm hoping you guys are doing like I always tell you to do. Hopefully you're washing these, you're covering this, you're staying this far away, and most importantly, you're looking after yourselves and your loved ones. To those who have lost someone because of this, you are in my prayers daily. I cannot even imagine how that feels, but you know what? We're going to keep moving forward because the human spirit is one of the strongest forces on this planet, and we're going to keep it positive. At least all I can do is control what I can do here. Okay, all right? This is going to be the first of many amazing videos I'm going to be doing, plus some other projects I've got going on that I'm going to be adding onto the channel. I have been doing IG lives on Instagram. I've been doing what I call the Blerdicorn Convos, and it gives me a chance to have a conversation with fellow Blerdicorns. As y'all know, that's what I am, of different genres and different passions, and we've been just having the most organic conversations, and it's been so great, and I've just enjoyed people coming out. And if you've seen them, you know what I mean. If you haven't, go to IGTV, look up Blerdicorn Convos. That's where I am. Well, look me up, Navy Montel. You can't go wrong. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, so when I create another video and I upload it, you guys will have the chance to see it. And of course, like my videos, please, please, please. I appreciate that. And share. I am trying to expand on so much. I've actually expanded my social media appearances, and my footprint is getting a little larger. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm now on Clubhouse, so I'm there at Navy Montel. So if you guys want to just ping me there, we can definitely chop it up. I actually like the platform. It's actually really cool, but I digress. I'm gonna be all over the place. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, notification bell, and everything. So y'all wonder why I was talking about Milestone. Well, as you guys know, Milestone has been and always will be one of my favorite comic properties ever. They were created by 4 trailblazing gentlemen, 2 of which I'm already fans of: Dennis Cowan, Duane McDuffie, Derek Dingle, and Michael Davis. They came up with the concept of creating the Dakotaverse, such a brilliant and beautiful and just a fantastically in-depth universe of characters, superheroes, supervillains, and everything. And the best part about it is an ethnic comic storyline. You will not find too many storylines out there, too many comic properties out here where they focus on people of color, of all racial backgrounds, but the focus is on these particular characters. And this concept came about in 1993 when these 4 gentlemen created this Milestone Media, and I loved it. And at around 2000, I think it's 2003, they made an agreement, or they came to an agreement with DC Comics where DC would be the publishers, and they would maintain having the intellectual property, maintaining the creative rights and everything. Basically, they were still their own boss. DC was the platform to publish it. And I loved it. For 4 years, they made an impact on me. Static, Icon, Hardware, Blood Syndicate, Shadow Cabinet. Oh, wait. Oh, there's more. Cobalt, Zombie. The list goes on. I love every single one of these. These are my number ones, and I had to bring them out to show you because I really love what they did. They really did something beautiful. And of course, everybody knows the main character, Static Shock, which came from this particular storyline, which is known as Static. It drives me nuts when people say Static Shock. Like, I get it from the cartoons, but if you go to the comics, you always got to go back to the origins to find out about characters and heroes and villains and things like that. So with this, there was such critical acclaim because of this particular comic property, because there was nothing out in the industry like it. You have your focus in DC and Marvel and even Image and Dark Horse and Valiant and all the other ones, but they weren't focusing on characters of color who has such a rich and in-depth history in themselves, where how they came about based on which character you speak on. A lot of the stuff came by happenstance and accident, but it came together to create something beautiful and rich and deep. And it wasn't all sprinkles and sunshine. Oh, it got dark, it got violent, and it got dramatic, but you couldn't help but want to know what was going to happen next. So why do I love Milestone? Milestone has inclusion. Again, we're talking about a comic story property where the focus was on characters of color: Black, Hispanic, Southeast Asian, you name it. All those particular color schemes, people, the lives they led and things that they did, and work with what they had. And I really enjoyed it because I related to every one of those characters. Some way, somehow, I could see a little bit of me in there. So with that, that's why one of the reasons why I enjoyed it. The diversity, unreal. You had it on every end of the spectrum. There was nothing taboo about this, and that was what I really loved about it. There was nothing taboo. They didn't sit there and say, oh, we're going to cover your eyes for this. No, they put it right there in your face. If you wanted to accept it, you could. If you didn't, you could walk away. No big deal. The writing, the artwork, the stories, the character development, you could just see it through every issue of every series of Hardware and Static and Icon and Blood Syndicate and Shadow Cabinet. I mean, the list went on. And mind you, I love how the whole concept came about as far as why these characters came to be, because it relates a lot to real world. In this world, in the Dakotaverse, it takes place in Dakota City, where there was this massive gang war going on. And the police, you were trying to disperse it, and they used this tear gas, which was laced with this element called quantum juice. To make a long story short, the police used the tear gas with the quantum juice and dispersed it. Just about everybody who was exposed to this was killed. However, a small percentage of people, whether it were gang members, police, and civilians who survived, seem to have come up with these superpowers. They come up with these super amazing superpowers. And the quantum juice was created by a character called Dr. Flack, who later became known as Dr. Nemo. And he was the shadow behind it all that was trying to make human evolution happen with superpowers. And he had a psychic vision of how this was going to look. So he wanted to make this happen. So you see this overall arcing story of this one individual who wanted to see if he could make as many super beings as he could, and that created the story. We come up with the story of, let me put it, sorry, Static. This is Virgil Hawkins. He's a normal teenager. He was right around there when the quantum juice hit, and he was a survivor. And of course, y'all know about Static. He has electricity-based powers. But you see him struggle as a teenager. I love this because as a teenager, I struggled too with identity, just desire to belong, to find out who I was and just making friends and just making my place in this world. And I really love this comic because it reminds me a lot of Power Man and even Daredevil, if you want to go there, and Black Lightning, because characters that want to just take care of their neighborhoods and the people that they loved, and they weren't trying to be international massive heroes and personalities. So I love that Static, and I was eventually working on a cosplay for that. And just a footnote before I keep going, people were asking, well, what happened to do Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman? In this universe, they're comic characters. They're not real heroes in this, until of course DC had to jump in and they had to do Worlds Collide, which was about 1994, I believe. Yeah, it was about 1994. And yeah, that's when you see them incorporate them. But this big old event caused people in the universe, on the Dakotaverse, to forget about them because Zero Hour happened. We're not even going to talk about that. So I move on. Icon has such, if you ever get a chance to read this, his origin is similar to the Son of Krypton, Superman, except when he landed on Earth, he came to Earth and he was already an alien. So the first person that he saw, he took on their characteristics, their racial ethnicity and everything. And of course, the first person that comes across or ends up finding him is a slave woman. So he becomes a black man, he becomes a slave. Now people have talked about how much, oh, he's a Republican, this, that, and the other. If you get that deep into a story, you're really losing track of what's going on. He has powers similar, if not greater and superior to Superman. Didn't really have much of a moral compass because, again, as an alien, he wasn't human. He didn't have human emotions and things like that until he met Rocket. And Rocket became his moral compass. She became his guide into the world of being human. If you ever get a chance to find these, you will love it, because these two right here, to me, they are the dynamic duo. So then we get into Blood Syndicate. Now what's funny about Blood Syndicate is that they are not a superhero group. They are the culmination of two gangs, Force Syndicate and the Paris Island Bloods. And those are the two gangs that were fighting that caused the police to release the quantum juice tear gas, which caused a good chunk of both gangs to die. So they end up becoming the culmination of both of those gangs. So let me see, yeah, unfortunately, I don't have number one of Shadow Cabinet. I wish Blood Syndicate. I wish I did, because it is a fantastic course. You got Boogeyman on the front, so who doesn't like this one? And I loved the dynamic because they were just a gang. They weren't friends. They weren't family. They were trying to make it work. And every one of them had their own problems and circumstances and issues. Of course, everyone knows when you put people together who don't always get together, you're going to have that drama, you're going to have that stress and that pressure. But they tried to make it work. And every last one of them got powers they didn't want. They were fine with the lives that they had, but they still had their problems. And they still tried to make it work. And even had the conflicts that were going on. But I really loved this story because, again, when you take groups of people who have never interacted before and you try to make it work, it does make a very interesting storyline, because alliances are made, friendships are made, even you find that long lost love against them with the most unusual of people. So if you get a chance to find Blood Syndicate, I definitely recommend that. My man. My man, Curtis Metcalf, also known as Hardware. This is a brother that makes Bruce Wayne look like crap, okay? He's an inventor, and he worked for a group called Alva Industries, and he worked under his mentor, Edwin Alva, and very, very educated and innovative and creative, and he was coming up with all of these different things. But he finds out that his mentor was part of a criminal organization called System. And of course, Edwin Alba did some things to Curtis, and Curtis was not about that. So he decided to take his intellect and his ability to create, and he made this badass exoskeleton. It may not look like much when you see it, but this man could create some stuff. And he became Hardware, and his job was to take down his mentor and to take down System. And this is just reminiscent. Okay, it's reminiscent of Batman and Cyborg and Iron Man and anybody else who had the intellect to create something to augment their lack of superpowers. He is one of the few characters in this universe who has no powers. His power comes from his mind. And I love the intellect that was expressed and his passion to do something good. And of course, you know he was going to get back at those who got back at him, but he ended up becoming a crime fighter when all he wanted to do was just to make his name a good name again. So I genuinely love this. This was actually one cosplay that I wanted to do, but I didn't know what direction I was going to go with this. And when I loved it, because when it came with it, it came with a poster, and it came with this placard that gave a bit of a description at the bottom of here. They really did this. And the trading card, which I love. I love the trading card. Oh my gosh. I love it, guys. I really do. And you had some not so well-known groups, but they were still just as relevant. Another one, Shadow Cabinet. Shadow Cabinet is a secret superhero organization where they fight crime in the shadows, and you don't know that they're there. And again, this goes along the secret organizations that were basically shadow organizations. You didn't know they existed. You didn't know they were there. You didn't know what they were doing, but they were there doing what they were going to do to take care of the crime and anything that was a threat to the world. Mind you, yes, you had your definite drama in there and your intrigue, but again, every character in this universe, I have to honestly say, was somebody, once you learned about them, you could relate to them somehow. And I really dug it. And I really love Shadow Cabinet because it was like Dharma, who is the leader of the group. He was as shadowy as it gets. Just a really dark Professor Xavier with hair. And they were just doing their thing. I loved it. You had Donner and Blitzen and Iron Butterfly and Dharma. It's great. It's really good. Again, another series I highly recommend. If you can find it, you won't be disappointed. Now, mind you, I remember I told you that there was diversity. Now, you could see most of the characters were black and Hispanic and Southeast Asian, but you have an actual Asian character. This is Zombie. Zombie is in essence a doctor, and he was about that life-saving ability, but he ended up getting the ability to not die. As you could tell from the cover, he went through it. He genuinely went through it. He has the ability of sustained I don't want to say immortality, but for lack of a better term, yeah. He takes damage and he can heal from it. It just takes a minute, but I really enjoyed this series because it shows someone who really didn't want powers. He didn't want, none of them do, but you can see it more so with him, and his powers, pardon my French, were really ass. And he really went through it, but he was still determined to try to be a lifesaver. And I loved this character. And if you get a chance, again, go for it. And if you can find any of the issues of any of these titles, definitely go for it. These are just a few of what I own. What I really loved about this, besides what I've said, is the fact that as a comic collector and as a black kid, it was always hard to find characters that I could relate to. And when it came time to try and I got older, my hunger and my thirst for finding black characters other than the standard menagerie of Black Lightning and Power Man and even then John Stewart, who's still the most badass Green Lantern out there, but still not the same characters all the time. But when Milestone was created, I saw a new world open up. I saw possibilities. And unfortunately, this only lasted for 4 years. And Static, Icon, and Hardware were the last titles to be canceled because, you know, sales were dropping, and there was a lot of there was some inner drama between the Milestone Media Group and DC. And then they even tried a crossover with a storyline called Worlds Collide, where of course now you start seeing the main DC characters coming into the fray: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. And I don't know, I honestly didn't like it. I didn't like it because Dakotaverse, Milestone could handle it on their own. They were handling it just fine. I think it could have been on. I think it could have still been going on now with such amazing character development and just with new artists and new creators and writers that are out here now, younger generation. Oh my goodness, the possibilities were endless. But the good news is that last year at DC Fandom, there was a surprise panel, and I found out, and of course it's the panel with Jim Lee, and Dennis Cowan was on there. And oh my gosh, come to find out that Milestone is coming back here in 2021. Oh, I was so happy to hear this. Michael B. Jordan, I love you, bro. For real, for real. He said he is going to produce a live action Static movie. Yo, and all of the comics are coming back into electronic media. I honestly hope it comes to print. I really do, because I'm a lover. I'm a lover of comics. I like holding them, turning the pages, reading, and even sharing with different people. I hope they do. I don't know all the details at the current time of this filming, but I will say this: I am so excited. Bro, come on, man. When you got something that works and it's a beautiful thing and you can have more people relate to it, and most importantly, you're introducing a new generation to something that worked, and you're bringing it to the other side, and you're making two worlds come together and make a beautiful thing, why not bring it back? Why not not even reinvent it, but why not revitalize it? Bring it up out of the ashes like a phoenix. Let it shine like a supernova, as I've been saying here a lot lately. Because Milestone is needed now. Nothing against Marvel and DC and Image and Dark Horse and Boom Studios, and the list goes on. They've been doing phenomenal work, especially the independent titles. Always a fan of the independent titles. But we needed something else. We needed something with more characters, and there are up and coming, and there are comic companies now, black comic companies that are creating things like the Tuskegee Heirs has been out for a good long while. Black Sands has been out for a while. My man Branson Grant, I get excited about this. He's creating the Protector Saga in a graphic novel, which is going to be amazing. I've already got my copy of the book. I cannot wait to support this young man in his efforts. But what I'm saying is, there have been people who have taken the mantle and have moved forward. So why not bring back a pioneer who did something that Marvel and DC could not do? Genuinely and honestly could not do. And I think if they did try to do this, it would not have had the same effect, because when you take black folk and they create something containing black characters, black villains, or villains of color, heroes of color, and put them in a situation where it's relatable, you've got a gem on your hands. You've got something so beautiful that is something that you can pass on to future generations. I am looking forward to sharing these with my grandchildren, my grandsons. I'm looking forward to this. Seriously, I am. If you have not ever had the chance to delve into Milestone, I recommend just go to your local comic store, look in their back issues. If they have a few titles of Hardware and Static and Icon and Blood Syndicate and Shadow Cabinet and Cobalt and Zombie and even the Worlds Collide storylines, if they have those, scoop them up, open them up, read them. Read the in-depthness of each of these characters and all their groups and everything they have to do, because they're just, and the stories are just as amazing as what you read now. The only difference is, as a black kid growing up, I've always wanted to see characters of color, black characters that I could relate to on my level. Nothing against Black Lightning, nothing against Luke Cage, Power Man, and even Black Panther and Jon Stewart. But how many other choices did we have? We had Vixen, Misty Knight. I mean, they were coming up, but these characters were not created by black creators. They were created by white creators and everything else. And I wanted something that was created by one of my own. And Milestone was that. It epitomized what I looked for in comics. So yes, I'm a Milestone man to my heart. When I got the chance to meet Dennis Cowan in 2018, that was a dream come true. And then I got to see him on DC Fandom last year. We're talking history. And unfortunately, not all of the creators made it. We lost Dwayne McDuffie. Goodness, we lost him, and we lost a giant. We lost an icon. It was because of him that Justice League and Justice League Unlimited were two shows that I adored, because he was part of that storytelling process. He would be proud, I think, knowing that Milestone is back and Dennis is doing the thing. And I'm hoping Michael and Derek are a part of this project. And I know Reggie Hudlin is a part of this project as well. He was one of the people that came in after. So you've got iconic storytellers and artists and creators who are bringing something back, something beautiful. If you don't have the chance, if you've never seen anything like this, go find it and expose yourself to that. And just know that you're going to be rewarded with fantastic characters. One of the characters is so iconic, he's cosplayed so much by black folk. Static Shock, who I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad that a Milestone character came out of the pages and became animated, which is wonderful, and I love it. But don't just focus on him. There's such a rich and diverse universe out there in Milestone. If someone were to ask me who is my favorite, I have two. Hardware was my favorite single character. My favorite group is Blood Syndicate, because there was such a dynamic in the story and how it was told, and how you see each of them relating to their own personal issues, but they were willing to put them to the side for the greater good. Even though they were fractured and tormented and abused and hurt and just dealing with everything, they were still trying to make it work. So that's why I really loved Hardware and Blood Syndicate. Okay? If you ever get the chance, go find them. Go to your local comic book store and look over and say, hey, do you have any back issues from Milestone? Most likely they'll tell you they're not sure, but that's where the fun is. Finding them and discovering them on your own, which is what I continue to do all the time. So go check them out. Let me know what you think. Are you a reader of Milestone from the beginning? Did you just discover it? Have you never heard of it? What do you think of it when you were reading it? What do you think of it now that you discovered it? Or how would you feel about it now in 2021? Are you excited for the Static Shock movie? Are you excited for the re-emergence of these characters? Let me know down in the comments. I love to hear what you guys have to say. Okay? I'm going to be back later with more videos. I'm trying to create different content. I'm going to be doing reviews of upcoming shows and movies and things like that. And of course, you know, I'm going to be talking about what's passionate in my world, because you guys are amazing. And thank you guys so much for hanging with me all this time and being patient. Okay? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Please share. Don't forget, I am on IGTV doing my Blerdicorn Convos. I'm also on Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts with my partner, Miss Angie, as one half of the Blerdicorn Speaks podcast, which was 2020 actually was something that made that even greater. So yeah, please go check them out. Okay? Follow me on all social media platforms. You reach out to me, I'll speak back. That's how I do. Okay? Thank you guys so much. And as always, as we go into 2021, as you stay safe, your loved ones safe, do the best you can, okay? Stay nerdy, stay geeky, stay sexy. Please stay safe. I will see you guys when it is time. Okay? You take care of yourselves, guys. Bye.
Yeah!